to the Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Who Dat Say podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. I am your fellow Who Dat and host, Kevin Reed, and we have arrived to week 10 of the NFL season as the Saints travel to Carolina to take on our division rivals, the Panthers. Saints, as you all know, unless you've been living under a rock or, God forbid, have a paper bag over your head, the Saints are currently 1-8, and they look to bounce back this week and reverse their not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 game losing streak in hopes to go into their week 11 bye with a victory, while they have to play the Carolina Panthers, who are 5-4. Who saw that? Who had that on their bingo card this year, that the Carolina Panthers would be 5-4, second in the division as it stands right now? The Saints are looking to improve to 2-8 with 4 of their next 5 games in the NFC South, and even up the division record at 1-1. We know that the Saints lost a couple of weeks ago to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their first division game of the year and their first division loss of the year. On average, well, not on average, but the advantage goes to the Saints in this matchup, because out of the 60 times, yes, the Saints and the Panthers have played 60 times. The Saints got a little edge with 31 wins in that division matchup to 29 losses. And over the past 4 years, that's 8 matchups, these teams have split. It has been back and forth between the Saints and the Panthers, and that is the sign of a true rivalry. This is probably the toughest rival that we have in our division, and it's been like that since its inception of the NFC South. I know a lot of people point at Atlanta, but that's more of a bragging rights type of deal between the fan bases. Saints normally wipe the floor with Atlanta, even though I think the record is pretty close there too, but not as close as this matchup, and Tampa as well. But I think Saints have an advantage in that one as well. But this is the most tightly contested matchup in our division, if I'm not mistaken. And it shows every game. They always lay it out. Both of these teams lay it out. No matter who's the quarterback, who's the coach, it's always a good game between these two teams. And that leads me to say, I don't think that's going to happen this week. I don't think it's going to happen. The New Orleans Saints have not shown that they are up to the task to play anybody in this league, let alone the Carolina Panthers, who are coming into this game pretty banged up and, still unsure of themselves, like us. But for some strange reason, they find ways to win. The Carolina Panthers are coming off their probably biggest upset of the season thus far by knocking off the Green Bay Packers in epic fashion. I think, about 2-3 weeks ago, they played the Atlanta Falcons and blew them out. They blew the Falcons out. It wasn't even close. So they're hitting the field and giving it their all. They're still not there yet, but they're working towards it. I can honestly say that Carolina is maybe 2-3 players away from contending in this division. They're right on the cusp. They remind me of the Detroit Lions of a few years ago. You remember when Dan Campbell first got to Detroit, and the first couple of years were kind of rough. They weren't winning too many games, but they were in every single game. It didn't matter who they played. You was in for a fight when you played Detroit. You may walk out with a victory, but you had to earn it. And everybody was saying, like, man, Detroit is almost there. At least I was saying it. Detroit is almost there. Just watch out for them. And look at Detroit now. They've been to the playoffs a couple of straight years, almost made it to the Super Bowl. What was it, last year, the year before last, whatever that was. Really good team. Really good team, well coached and everything. Now, that leads me to my team, our team, the New Orleans Saints. Do you see that in the Saints? Do you see any fight in the Saints? No, you don't see any fight in the Saints. There's nothing to cheer for, man. There's really nothing to get excited about in this team. The team don't even look excited. There's no emotion on that sideline. There's no emotion on the field. They're just there, and it just radiates all over the Who Dat Nation, and it's really unwatchable. This team is borderline unwatchable at this point, and it's sad. Let's go over the news of the week. We know that the trade deadline was earlier this week, Tuesday, and a lot of question marks were popping up around this team leading up to Tuesday. Were the Saints going to be active on trading day? You know, what are they prepared to do? Who are they prepared to trade? What kind of compensation are we going to get? Because we're going into next year's draft with only 5 picks. So we needed picks. You know, I was really hoping, and I know this comes out wrong because I really like the guy, Chris Olave. I really like Chris Olave, but Chris Olave holds a lot of value, I felt, as far as trade value is concerned. I thought he would go. I really thought he was going to get traded away because you also have to look at the fact Chris Olave, this is contract year. He's going to be due a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't earn whatever, but to be $25-30 million for Chris Olave just doesn't sound right to me. It just doesn't get there. I don't care how you slice it. It just doesn't compute in my mind. Paying Chris Olave $20 to $25-30 million a year. You know, not in the upper echelons. We ain't talking Jamar Chase money or Justin Jefferson money, but mid-tier money because he is a first-round pick. You know, he is a number 1 receiver on this team. And so you're going to have to pay him number 1 receiver money. And so I thought business-wise it would make more sense to move Olave. Well, they didn't move Olave. Olave is still here, and for the foreseeable future, he will be a Saint. Good on him. But you moved Rashid Shaheed. And I just want to take this time to thank Mr. Shaheed. I love that dude, man. Just thinking back to his first play as a New Orleans Saint. His first play, he took it to the house. I think the first 3 times he touched the ball, he scored. As a Saint, you know, he really stamped his legacy as a New Orleans Saint. And I thought that this was going to be one of those finds, you know, because Rashid was an undrafted free agent. And so we're playing with house money with Shaheed. And he definitely outplayed his status of where he was picked or the lack thereof. And so it was a win, man. And I really, really hate to see him go. Well, he was dealt to the Seattle Seahawks for a 3rd and a 4th round pick. That is the biggest win you can ever receive. The New Orleans Saints actually did something right. As much as I didn't want Shaheed to go, definitely going to miss him because the Saints no longer have a threat that's going to stretch the field, at least as far as I can see. Will Mason Tifton stepped up? Will not Devontae, what's his name? Devont Valet, will he step up? I don't know who's going to step up, but whatever. We don't have that threat no more. But the fact that you got a 3rd and a 4th round pick for a player that you own, you didn't waste a pick on. That is a win. And I congratulate them on that. Here's where the problem comes in for me. It was the very next deal that was made. Right before the deadline, the Saints traded Trevor Penning to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's fine, because Trevor Penning wasn't doing it. They tried. I give the Saints credit for this. They tried with Trevor Penning. They put him at right tackle. They put him at left tackle. They put him at right guard. They put him at left guard. They tried everything. I even think he played center one time because of Eric McCoy got hurt or something like that. But he played pretty much the whole offensive line. And he wasn't good nowhere. Well, I take that back. He actually was decent at right tackle last season. He was decent. But just like Olave in the same draft, first round pick, we actually moved up to get him. We wasted picks to get him and moved up and got Trevor Penning in the first round. With his contract coming up, what was he going to get? Nothing. It was not. He didn't earn a dime from his gameplay, and so it was smart to trade him away. My problem came with what the compensation. A 6th-round pick, not in this upcoming draft, but in the 2027 draft. That was a 1st-round pick. Now, is he a 1st-round talent? No, he's shown that. And so I understand that. I know you weren't going to get that. I know you weren't going to get a 2nd or a 3rd. But come on. Come on, man. That was a bonehead. You held all the cards, Mickey. You held all the cards. Not Seattle. The Chargers were desperate. They were desperate because they just lost their I think their guard for the season. So they were desperate. You could have named your price. Now I know you couldn't go too high, like I said before, but I'm pretty sure you could have did better than a 6th-round pick in 2027. I don't know, man. It's just Mickey Loomis the dude is a head scratcher. Brilliant trade deal with Seattle for Shadeed. Brilliant. And then you turn right around and pull this one. I don't know. But yeah, that's the moves the Saints made, and I think it's smart moves because now the Saints have a total of 8 picks in the draft, plus a possible 9th in with the I think compensation draft due to the amount of players that they've lost so far this season. So they're stacking up picks, so that's a good thing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be kind and say that they're gonna have a top 3 pick, even though deep down in my heart and soul, it's gonna be the 1st pick in the draft. But with that, oh my God, you know how much value that is gold, because you don't need to use that pick. It's unnecessary to use that pick. I wouldn't, because what quarterback? Because that's the only reason you would use that pick. And the Saints' problem is not going to be solved with 1 pick out of the 1st round, or the 1st pick in the 1st round. You need more picks. So you trade back, get more, and then start building your team that way. The only question is, are the Saints going to do it? But before we get to all that, yeah, once again, thank you, Shadeed, for your service, man, here in the Who Dat Nation. You will always be remembered here. You done no wrong by me, and he's going to flourish in Seattle. Trust me. He's over there with Clint Kubiak, our former offensive coordinator last season. We saw what he did with Shadeed last season. So you can just imagine what he's going to do over there in Seattle. Oh, my God. But I wish him all the best, man. I really do hate to see him go. Trevor Penning, also, as much as I couldn't stand his gameplay, I hate to see him go. You know how it is in the Who Dat Nation. When you wear that Florida lease, you're a Who Dat for life, unless you're an idiot like Derek Carr. But anywho's, I wish both of them gentlemen all the luck and success in the world. But we are here for week 10. Saints, Panthers. Oh boy. Well, where do I start with this? Well, I mean, what do we talk about in this game? Uh, do the Saints have a chance? No. I just don't see the Saints pulling this off. It would be a miracle. It would honestly be a miracle if the Saints can pull this off. It is not like Carolina Panthers are world beaters, but Carolina Panthers are a better team, a well coached team, at least more than the Saints is. Let's go over the lead rankings of 2025 so far. 10 weeks into the season, or going into the 10th week of the season, Saints are 1-8, Panthers are 5-4. Scoring average, the New Orleans Saints has a scoring average of 15.3 per game. They are 31st in the league. Saints can't score. They can't score. Now, Carolina ain't the best either. They're ranked 27th in the league, 18.9. But, I mean, my God, man. Saints can't score 2 touchdowns in a game. It's almost impossible to see the Saints score twice. If they manage to score twice, I'll be happy. Even if we lose, I'll be happy. Opponent scoring average, Saints are ranked 24th in the league. The Panthers, 16th in the league. Total offense, Saints are 29th. Panthers are 21st. Rushing offense, Saints are 27th, whereas the Panthers are 5th. They run the air out of that ball. God help us all. Passing offense, Saints are 22nd in the league, where the Panthers are 30th in the league. And you got to look at it in its totality. They have no reason to throw the ball because they run it down your throat. Total defense, Saints are 18th. The Panthers are 13th. Rushing defense, and this is key due to the points that I was just making about the run game. The Saints' run defense are ranked 24th in the league. They give up 129.4 yards a game. Carolina's 5th ranked rushing offense, they gain 139.8 yards a game. So it looks like it's going to be a run heavy game, and we are not a run stopping defense like that. Carolina's run defense, they're 18th in the league. Passing defense, Saints are 14th, and that's a shock to me. I didn't know the Saints was ranked that high. Defensively, on at least passing defensively. So that's a bit of a shock that they're ranked kind of middle of the pack, and ranked better than Carolina just by one ranking. They're 15th. Turnovers, both teams are tied for 23rd in the league, with a -4 in turnover margin. That is ugly. Because the last couple of weeks, the Saints have been turnover machines. Let's move on to our season leaders. Our season leaders so far through 9 weeks of the season, beginning with passing, the New Orleans Saints passing leader so far through 9 weeks is Spencer Rattler, 174 completions on 256 attempts. That's 1,586 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. For the Carolina Panthers, you have Bryce Young, 149 completions on 244 attempts, 1,390 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. For the New Orleans Saints, rushing leader, Alvin Kamara, 106 carries for 377 yards and 1 touchdown. But for the Carolina Panthers, it is Rico Dowley, 131 carries, 735 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, he runs. Leading receiver for the Saints is Chris Olave, 55 receptions for 560 yards and 3 touchdowns. For the Carolina Panthers, you have the gentleman's whose first name I cannot get, but McMillan. McMillan, he has 41 catches for 558 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carl Grandison is still the sack leader with 4.5, whereas Derek Brown leads his team with 3 sacks. Demario Davis leads the team with tackles. He has 84 tackles. For the Carolina Panthers, Christian Rosbone, he has 77 tackles. Let's get into the injury report for this Sunday's matchup against the Carolina Panthers. The Saints only have one player who is officially ruled out of the game due to injury, and that is offensive tackle Taliense Fuaga. He is out with an ankle injury. He's going to be out a minute. They're saying like around Thanksgiving he may return with that ankle injury, which is a big loss. Big loss because for better or worse, you lost Penning. Penning is gone. And so that offensive line was already thin, and now it's thinner. But he has been ruled out. Questionables for Sunday's matchup. You have Brian Brzee with a back injury. Jake Stahl with an ankle injury. Jonah Williams, who had a pretty decent game last week. He had a sack. He had a couple of tackles. But he has a shoulder injury. And Alvin Kamara with an ankle injury, because he's been on a injury report for a few weeks now with that ankle. But all of those players are questionable for Sunday's matchup. Carolina, on the other hand, have 2 of their wide receivers who are questionable. Brycene Tremaine, I believe that's how you say his first name. He is questionable with a hip injury, as well as McMillan, their leading receiver. He has a hamstring injury, but he is ruled as questionable for Sunday's matchup. Keys to victory. Keys to victory versus the Carolina Panthers. Look, Saints aren't going to win, but if they have any chance to win this game, if there's any glimmer of hope in this team, it's not so much scoring points, because that's Captain Obvious answer. The key to victory here is to stop the Carolina Panthers run game. The reason Carolina are 5-4 right now is because of their run game. It is very successful, and it's like a bowling ball, really. I mean, Carolina has always been a run team. Carolina was never a air it out type team, but this is a run dominant team, very successful, highly rated. Whereas the Saints defense, I don't care what the numbers say, we stink. Stopping the run, stopping the pass, we can't stop a nosebleed. So I would put it in Bryce Young's hand. Bryce Young is going to have to beat me today, and especially with his top receivers being banged up. Whether they play or not, they're banged up. And so we're going to put the ball in his hand. We're going to take the run away and make Bryce Young beat us. Now, can he? Yeah, Bryce Young is a fairly decent quarterback. He's starting to get there. You know, he started off rough, but he's getting there. You know, he's fairly decent. He's good enough to beat the Saints, I'll tell you that much, and that's not saying much. But I can live with that. I can't live with a team getting 150 to 200 yards rushing. Just last week the New Orleans Saints was on the field 16 minutes. 16 minutes. The way the Carolina Panthers are set up to run the ball, eat the clock, Saints probably would get the ball 15 minutes this Sunday. But I need this defense to step it up. And of course, offensively, we got to finish drives. Actually, we got to get first downs. The first 4 plays from the New Orleans Saints last week, the first 4 opening plays were 3 and outs. You put the defense right back on the field. And you know, I couldn't really get mad at the defense last week because the offense couldn't get a first down. We had that one drive at the end of the half, and that was it. Other than that, the Saints could move the ball if they had a bulldozer. I just couldn't. I can't wrap my head around it. But if the Saints have any chance, they're gonna have to find a way, not so much to stop the Carolina Panthers run attack, but at least contain it. I'm not 100% confident that they can, but we shall see. I would like to know, what do you think will be the outcome of this Sunday's matchup? And look, people, let's keep it PG. Let's keep it PG. Because as I was sitting here trying to go through this show, trying to do this show, I had to constantly, like, internally talk myself down because my blood pressure was right. Talking about this team gets me mad. It really does. I did not think this year was going to go this way. I didn't think the Saints were going to win nothing, but my God, I thought they were going to be better looking than this. But this is embarrassing. But anyway, keep it PG. Don't go off. Oh, you already know what the outcome. Look, I know, but I mean, I'm looking for intelligent answers. You know, why you think we're gonna lose, or why you think we're gonna win. I just need intelligent answers, everybody. Please I know you're mad. I'm mad too, but let's try to keep it cordial up in here. You can email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the views, the sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Who That Say podcast here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this preview of the divisional showdown between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers this Sunday, 12 noon on Fox. Just a reminder, don't forget that after the game, I will come back for the recap of the Saints versus Panthers, and we can discuss a Saints victory. Well, we'll see. But until then, I'm going to be screaming, "Who dat?"